USC and UCLA are moving to the Big Ten. I have a lot of thoughts, but I want to start with you. When you first heard this news, what was your first reaction?
First thing I said was money. Since we talk about Lamar Jackson, I saw USC and UCLA go to the Big Ten, man. I said, man, that's money talking. That's all that. Because you can just see, look at what's going on with USC right now, man. They getting all these transfers, going through these transfer portals. Like these kids hitting the portal and they just slide out, and you was like, I wonder where they're going. USC, you get another kid, they're going to hit the portal, and you was like, man, I wonder where he going. USC, then you just get another kid, he slide in the portal. Like, man, I wonder where he going. Man, he going to USC. USC ain't doing nothing but NIL deals, the LA lifestyle, big lights, nice nightlife. That's just what they got to offer. Plus, we got a heck of a team and a football coach. So this is what I see at UCLA is on the same a couple of miles down. So when you look at that, it's like, hold on. So USC is right here, and UCLA is actually in the city. UCLA is actually in the city of LA. So, man, you just got option. That's money. So both of the colleges agreed, look, we got plenty of money in the city of LA. We're a big-time organization. We got everything we need as far as, like, publicity, the nightlife, why people want to come here. We getting a coaching staff and the coaches up to par. We're getting back to what we used to be. And they say, you know what, why not go back to the Big Ten? So now we getting exposure that we need. So it just makes a whole lot of sense, man. When it comes down to it, as soon as I saw it, the first thing I thought about was money.
Yeah, the number 2 TV market in the country behind New York, the city's so great they named it twice. My first thought, I'm from the Midwest. Midwesterners are going to love visiting LA in November, December, January, and February in both football and basketball, because when it gets cold, and I have a lot of friends that went to Illinois, Indiana, Iowa, they're going to say, my team's playing UCLA, or my team's playing USC. Want to go take a trip with all of our buddies and alumni and go out west and go out and take a vacation? This makes so much sense in that regard. But man, I'll be honest with you. You kind of go from a Power 5 to a Power 2 now, because this comes on the heels of Texas and Oklahoma joining the SEC. So the SEC is going to be loaded come 2025. It already is. But now the Big Ten makes this move to counter that, and all the other conferences are going to be left scrambling. I couldn't help but wonder, what's the future of the Pac-12? What's the future of the other conferences? Because now you have 2 dominant conferences in the SEC and the Big Ten that are very, very top heavy, and that are just absolutely loaded with the elite of the elite when it comes to collegiate athletics.
Yeah, don't be surprised if Oregon slide over in the Big Ten as well. And it's just popped in my head since we're talking. And the reason why I said Oregon, it's going to be a strength of schedule. They're going to get watched more if they join the Big Ten. I mean, we all know what Oregon brings. Oregon brings some sneaky and quiet guys in the NFL. Just look at Herbert and Sewell and other guys the last couple of years who's coming out the University of Oregon. But it just makes sense in my mind that Oregon goes to the Big Ten to get the exposure they really don't get, because they all the way up top on the left coast, sitting over there by Canada.
And Ike, you're talking about the Nike money with Phil Knight as well, where Nike is headquartered. I will say this, and obviously this could change, but when I was researching this, the LA Times, multiple sources told the LA Times the Big Ten is not looking to expand right now by adding another Pac-12 team, but obviously that could change. And so
correct.
Oregon and Washington would still be, in my opinions, the 2 blue chip programs left in the Pac-12. Notre Dame is still out there too as an independent, Ike. And I was thinking about this too when I knew we were going to discuss this segment. Notre Dame in 2020, this was during the COVID season when everyone was trying to figure out, okay, are we having a college football season? Are we not? The ACC in 2020 should have said, look, we're throwing you a lifeline, Notre Dame, by being able to provide and help and, have you join our conference for a year by playing all of our teams. For extending this olive branch to allow you to play in the 2020 season, we're going to need a 5-year commitment, a 10-year commitment, an indefinite commitment. the ACC had that opportunity in 2020. And I wonder what leverage Notre Dame had at the time, because
money.
The ACC to bolster itself, probably the NBC contract hike, but the ACC to bolster itself should have added Notre Dame at the time when the opportunity to. Remember, Notre Dame played ACC schools in the 2020 season.
Yeah, but you got to understand, Notre Dame got their own TV network. That's what a lot of people don't understand. Notre Dame is like Texas. That's one thing we're never heard of. From the alumni to the boosters, we're never heard over the money. That's why Notre Dame can just be on their own for this long. That's why they're independent for this long. So Notre Dame dictate. They don't let nobody dictate to them. That's what you got to love about Notre Dame. And really, they're the only college who can really do that. We can play whoever we want to play. We can get this TV. We can get these games nationally televised, and we really don't need any help from nobody. They've been doing this for the longest. Not too many colleges can say that, or not a college can say that. So Notre Dame just different. Like when you just leave, I'm gonna use the black sheep preference. You just leave that black sheep sitting over there because they're all the way different, man. They just figured it out. The funding is so good. And we're talking about, not even from a sports standpoint, from other aspects. They're gonna always be funded well over there at Notre Dame. So it's just a school that there's no such thing as money. When you ask a few people I know, and they're billionaires, that they don't understand. I ain't gonna say the value of money. They just got so much of it, they just don't think about it. And that's Notre Dame when it comes down to this football and getting on TV. They got so much money, they don't even think about it. You got to come to them with a $1 billion deal for them to move. Because if you just come in with them with a multi-million-dollar deal, $100, $200, $300 million deal, they're like, nah, man, you should see who's funding us. You should see who one of our alumni are. So we ain't really tripping on that. Man, that's just from a sports standpoint. Now, when it comes down to the funding on the other aspect, man, that's a whole different level. So Notre Dame, man, they're going to always be different. They will never have an issue when it comes down to money. That's why they just able to move and maneuver the way they want to, Mark.
I hear you. Final thought about this. The Rose Bowl, I don't think is going to have the same cachet once UCLA and USC move. I'm going to miss UCLA versus Arizona in hoops. Great rivalry. But I will say this. USC versus Rutgers, coast to coast. Sign me up. I can't wait. And it's going to be a matchup no one ever thought we'd ever see in the world. But now the Big Ten is on both coasts, USC, Rutgers, head-to-head. Two universities that are just like polar opposite. You got the glitz and glam of LA and Hollywood, and you've got the blue collar and Rutgers. I love it, Ike. I love it.
Yeah, that's going to be a matchup that Lincoln Riley going to be like, man, when he sees the Rutgers on the schedule, he's going to be like, it's going to be a dogfight, because that's exactly what the Rutgers bring. They got that East Coast. Just say like Philly, New Jersey. It's a mix. Like Rutgers is a mix of Philly, New Jersey, New York, Connecticut, bro. They just got a gumbo pot. Speaking of gumbo, just got a gumbo pot of people, and it's all like, I gotta prove myself kind of attitude for Rutgers. We are always the underdog for Rutgers, going against the entitled, so say, USC guys. Like, y'all just feel like y'all entitled. Y'all get everything y'all want. The iPhone 12 come out, y'all get it a week before everybody. Rutgers, we're still sitting on the iPhone 10 and we don't care. As long as I got Wi-Fi, I'm good. So the mentality is totally different. And once they play up, I'm gonna say this, Mark, you called it on the head. It's gonna be a game, but I'm sure Lincoln Riley already looking at it like, man, it's going to be tough when we play these boys, because we just got to understand that East Coast mentality, especially where they at.
I wonder if you gave Lincoln Riley truth serum, if he knew that it would be a possibility that USC would change conferences when he accepted that job. I don't know if we'll ever know the answer to that question, Ike. It's an unanswerable question, but I am curious.
Yeah, I mean, Lincoln got two houses in one city. He has a private plane whenever he needs it. One of his houses cost $17 million on the beach. The other house sitting at $8 million on the inland. So Lincoln knows exactly what he's doing, man. That man just getting paid and living the high life.
I'll take a room. I can house sit. I could do the pod from there. Listen, man, I mean, I'm available for Lincoln Riley. We know you're watching right now. Mark Bergin is available if you need someone to house sit for you, baby.
No question.